Well, welcome to the Gary Dunn Show for December 2nd, 2024. I'm your host, Gary Smith. And if we're still doing shows in December, that means it's been a magical run so far, Coach. We're going to look at the last week's game against Ashland in the NCAA second round, and then we'll preview the NCAA regional final this Saturday against Slippery Rock. And how good does it sound? How good does it feel? December football, Coach.
December football. Glad to be back for another week. Extremely proud of the guys for battling, competing, playing 60 minutes. And this time of year, it's about moving on. And we were able to do that Saturday against a really good, well-coached Ashland team. Just excited to be back practicing a little bit longer. Wish we had an indoor, but we're going to be excited to get up to the field this afternoon.
Well, let's back up a little bit, going back to this week leading up to the Ashland game, because obviously Thanksgiving week, there was a lot of hurdles to go through just to get to the game. Everybody had to go through them who was playing this week, but let's just talk first about the opponent, Ashland. How you prepare for a team. Cal and Ashland haven't played since 1991, so there's no history that's applicable in this situation. Ashland did play IUP in the first week of the year, but again, that's the first week of this year. Everything's changed. So on the coaching side of it, what's the first thing you do trying to break down an opponent you haven't had any experience with?
You really don't treat it any different than any other game. The problem this time of year is you have so much film to go over. Typically when you're early in the year, you might have 2-3 games. You might go back 4 weeks early in the year to see what a team did. Now, you find yourself watching film from Sunday morning till Friday night. We had 11 games to go through, and you feel like you're not doing your job, or you're not. I'm texting my coaching staff on Thursday night and Friday morning. Hey, did you see the fake punt in week 2? Hey, did you see the blue kick in week 3? Because early in the week, we have basically what we work on. And later on in the week, I go back and watch as many games start to finish as I can, just to see that I'm not missing anything. So, your routine's really the same. The problem is you just put more hours in because you have more film to watch.
And then the other part of it was obviously holiday week. Luckily, not a lot of classes happened last week, but you also had Thanksgiving holiday in the middle of that. I know we talked a little bit at the meeting Friday, but just tell, how does the coaching staff deal with it and get the players some time with their families, or if they can't go home, what do you do? I imagine you were carving 20 turkeys at your house.
Well, I wish we had, just to focus on coaching. That's not the case at our level. So, the biggest hurdle last week was finding how are we going to feed 115 kids all the meals because our university food services are closed. Mm-hmm. Now, thank God our food services take care of us here, and they did a good job and provided some meals when I needed them. We ate lunch on campus, I think, 3 days last week, and then they did our team breakfast for us like they always do. So can't thank those folks at AVI enough. But then, we wanted to treat the guys and do some things different maybe. So we got a lunch delivered one day. We got pizza delivered one day. We took them out to 2 dinners out to Hugo's restaurant. Hopefully I can give them a plug because they have taken care of Cal U football since I was a player here. And they provided 2 meals for us, one on Wednesday, one on Friday. That was phenomenal to be able to eat as a team and to relax and enjoy each other's company. Thursday, we were able to practice early. We gave them lunch right after practice. And then if we had guys that were close enough to go home and take some teammates with you. A lot of our guys, took 4 or 5 guys to their house, so we appreciate the parents helping out there. And then me, my wife, and my daughter hosted a number of guys at our house. I think we had 20 or 25 guys for Thanksgiving dinner, which was phenomenal to have those guys over the house. So it worked out really well, but it takes everybody from our food service people to our athletic administration to our coaching staff to organize all that, because you still got to keep the main thing, which is football. You still got to do your prep work. You still got to get your practice time in, and you throw that on top of everything. It just makes it a little more challenging. But man, everyone around here is stepping up.
And we get to the Saturday, you get through Thanksgiving, you get through the Friday practice, Friday meeting. But as you said, the main event is the game itself. You get to that game, and we talked last week, Ashland's a team that is dangerous in a lot of different ways. And again, Coach, like we joked when you came in, it's never easy. And especially this time of year, there's no game that's going to be easy. Everybody's tough. But once again, let's go through the first half because there's a lot to unpack. This game, there was twists and turns. If this was a Netflix series, it'd be a 2 or 3 episode story arc with what goes on, because Ashland came out, scored early, and they had a lot of momentum. But once again, your team doesn't blink.
Yeah, thought our offense did a good job of responding all day. There's some games where things are going to happen. I don't know if defensively we played our best football, and I think our kids and our defensive coaches will be the first one to tell you that. But when we needed to get stops, and we'll get to it, we got stops. We didn't tackle exceptionally well, but give Ashland credit. I mean, that's a lot of Ashland's got good skill kids, and they had a good scheme, and it just felt like the game was going to be one of those games. We're kind of trading punches all day. I think it's tied up 14-14 in the first half, and they execute a Hail Mary. We didn't execute a Hail Mary, so we go into down a score. And I told our team at halftime, it's exactly where we were last week. We came into halftime down a score. We preached to our guys about playing 60 minutes, and our guys have really taken off with that. And they know we're going to play 60 minutes no matter what the circumstances are. Turn the scoreboard off, play 60 minutes, and then after the game, we'll look up and see where we're at. I thought we did a good job of that, but I was proud of the offense in the first half, kind of responding to the punches that Ashland was throwing.
Yeah, Ashland scored quick, and then like you said, they responded, a couple long drives, and then your defense had a big turnover in the first half.
Sure.
Interception basically gives your offense a short field goes in for a touchdown. But again, like you said, the Hail Mary at the end of the half. A lot of teams may not be able to respond well to that. I thought, one of the things I look at when teams come out of the locker room for something like that, look like business usual. There's no panic. There's no anything.
We preach to our guys about playing the next play, and it's not just a motto that if we do something good, we move on to the next play. If something bad happens, so what? Ashland made a play, and I usually, as soon as we get into halftime, I meet with the offensive coaches, and I did not meet with them first. I went in to talk to the team and really the defense, and I just said, all right, let it go. And no big deal. We got 30 more minutes to play. They made a play. We didn't. Drop it just like any other play that we have. Play the next play, and let's get back to work. And I thought our guys did an exceptional job of that on defense.
Well, actually, and we're kind of spoiling the lead a little bit. They make the play. Your special teams blocks the extra point, which there was 2 missed extra points in the game. But I thought that block was very good because at the very least, that halted the momentum, gives you guys a little bit of a jolt to go in. But as it turned out, that missed extra point would loom large towards the end of the game.
They always do. And it's kind of the same script from 2 weeks ago when East Stroudsburg missed an extra point, right? But Naquan Crowder did a good job. He actually got his hands on 2 or 3 of them. I know he tipped 2 for sure. We think he got 3. The other ones happened to sneak in. But he's doing a really good job of getting some push in there and getting his hand up. And it was a huge play to make it only a 13-point game.
Yeah, and then second half, back and forth again. We get to, I think I was just doing the highlights this morning, looking at them, with about 22 minutes left in the game. Your team's down 2 scores. But again, defense comes up, you get a stop, you go down a score, and then, Ashland has a chance maybe to run some clock, and your defense once again steps up, forces a punt, good return, good play, and then, a go-ahead touchdown with one, as I mentioned when you came in, one of the best deep balls I've seen in a long time. That was a beautifully thrown ball.
Yeah, let's go back to that's kind of been the story of our defense. When we need to get a stop, we've gotten stops. You go back to the Clarion game earlier. You go back to the Seton Hill game. You go back to the Indiana. Our guys are going to play, and no matter what happened before that, doesn't matter. We can't get it back. Go play the next play. So those stops were huge. We got the ball. We went to a scheme that we hadn't used it all that day in the run game. And Bobby Boyd was able to spit a big run. Me and Coach Salisbury were on the headsets. I think we had about 9 minutes, maybe a little bit over 8 minutes left at that point. I said, hey, we're going to have to play with some pace here, being down 13 points. Well, Bobby breaks a 40-yard run to get us down to the 10-yard line.
That helps with the pace.
That helped with the pace a little bit. So then we executed. I think we ended that possession, if I'm not mistaken, we scored on
Davis Black on a touchdown. Yep.
So now the momentum's back on our side. We're down 6. Our defense is kind of settling in. We get another stop. We get a good punt return, and we got the ball, somewhere around midfield with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, and then, let's go back to the Davis Black touchdown run. I mean, if you look at his stats with the rushing touchdowns, you think you guys might use the old wishbone from the late 80s. But, I mean, just something about when he sees that the line break open in front of him. I mean, he can't be stopped inside of 8 yards.
He's got a good feel for it, and he's doing some good things. But I'll tell you, it's about Davis's heart. Is Davis is going to give you everything he has from the moment he wakes up in the morning to the moment he goes to bed. And I thought the offensive line did a great job on that, and I thought Eric McCann had a key block on that touchdown. Eric did a really good job. We ran a play into a front that we we really don't like running it into, but our guys executed and have confidence in Davis, and so that was a big score.
And then Ashland gets the ball back. Your defense does a great job forcing a 3-and-out, and then, like you said, on the touchdown, everything came together. The blocking was great. The read was great deep ball. But then we're on the press box, hey, this is great, but then you look up and there's still a lot of time.
Sure.
And we've all seen the last couple weeks, you don't want any time on the clock, but then that's when your defense stepped up.
The defense stood up to get 2 turnovers within the span of a minute. Just show you that our guys' belief in how hard they play. Rafiq Hilliard had a big interception. Would have liked to kill the clock there. We're going to watch it today. We had a couple runs there that should have got us the first down to end the game, and we just didn't execute it the right way. We've got to be better offensively in that situation. When our defense gets us a turnover, we got to be able. I think there was 2 minutes left, maybe 2 minutes and 6 seconds left. They had 1 timeout, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2. We got to be able to kill the clock there. We didn't execute, but thank God we play complementary football and team football, because in our defense, we had to punt it, didn't get a great punt off. I was talking with somebody after the game, and someone said, you got to imagine punting that ball is like punting a bowling ball this time of year. Didn't get a great punt off, kind of put our defense out there in a, where they only need a field goal. In a bad situation, but Rashawn Murray steps up and huge interception. He's been making plays for us all year long. For him to go up, and it's kind of, I was happy because of the work that he's put in. To win that game on what was essentially a walk-off interception. I was really happy for him because of the work that he put in and the type of season that he's had.
Well, he basically was a one-on-one coverage on that play. It looked like, and he just adjusted the ball and gets the interception. Then we get to see something we haven't seen last couple games because of the way the games have ended. The kill the clock, the
victory formation,
which is nice.
Best formation of football. Yeah, and credit our defense for battling all day and getting 2 late turnovers to ice that deal. It's fun as a head coach to see both sides make plays. The offense goes down and scores to take the lead, and the defense had to pick up the offense this week when we weren't able to kill the clock. That's something we got to be better at. But a good complementary football and good team football that everyone had put their hand in had part of that victory.
Well, let's take a look back at that victory from this past Saturday's Division II second-round victory over Ashland. And then our good man, J.J. Robinson, was on the sideline, so he got a little bit of a highlight package from a different angle. And then, Coach, we're going to look at the highlights from Slippery Rock. Usually it's a year before, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
It's only 6 weeks ago. But we'll be back to break down that game here. You're watching The Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV. The 2024 NCAA Division II Football Regional Championship is this Saturday, December 7th, as your California Vulcans host the Rock of Slippery Rock. Game time is 1 p.m. at Adamson Stadium, and tickets will be sold at the gate. As always, follow Cal Vulcans on all social platforms for up-to-date game information. If you can't make it, the CUTV coverage will air exclusively on ESPN+. Let's pack Adamson Stadium and go Vulcans!
Three receivers set. Black takes the snap, has some time, airing out deep down the field, has a man. Willis pulls it in. Willis inside the Vulcan territory, and one play is all he needs for the Vulcan touchdown. Eric Willis III, 65 yards for the Vulcan score. The handoff this time to McCann. McCann able to bounce outside, and McCann able to waltz his way into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Great vision from Eric McCann III, and the Vulcans strike again. The kick from Biko is up, and Biko's kick is good. The Vulcans make it a 3-score game, 17-0 is the score. Biko's kick is up, and Biko's kick is good, 20-7. Long, airing out towards the end zone, intercepted by Dominic Solomon Jr. He read it the whole way, breaking a tackle, and Dominic will not be brought down. Cam Cruz spins him out of play at the 15, but not before a turnover by the Rock, and it's Dom Solomon Jr. coming up with the interception. Boyd in the backfield. Black keeps it this time, and Black gets a block, and Black powering forward, and Black into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Your final score, California 28, Slippery Rock 7.
And welcome back to the Gary Dunn Show. I'm Gary Smith along with Coach Dunn. And Coach, before we break down Slippery Rock, we only have one graphic really to look at, and that's the bracket. As you see, California over Ashland. And then on the other side of the bracket, Slippery Rock and Kutztown. And we're going to talk about that as a one-point game, and a game we had on in the press box, and that game was back and forth. Slippery Rock executing two-point conversions, one in overtime on almost like not a flea flicker, but a lateral for the win. And they advanced to this week's game. And of course, you know, coaches, PSAC West football, you have seen each other for years and years and years. We know, you know, you said earlier about looking at film. I mean, I'm sure both your coaching staff and Slippery Rock's coaching staff probably has memorized the other team's film for the
Sure.
past 5 years. But, just for in case you've been living under a rock or been on a Caribbean cruise, welcome back. Hope you brought your sweater. Slippery Rock, we know they have an explosive offense, but what else do they bring?
They're just, they're really, really good top to bottom. I think they're giving up 17 points a game defensively. I think they're built around their defense. I think their offense is opportunistic and can run it, can throw it, but it's really I believe the strength of their team is their defense. They give up 17 points with the schedule, the schedule that they played. And they are playing really good football right now. When you go to Kutztown and beat Kutztown, that's a tremendous win. Kutztown, I was telling somebody a couple weeks ago, I feel like Kutztown's 14 points better at home than they are on the road. To go out there and win in the playoffs is a huge win. Got a lot of respect for how they do it and what they've done in this league for the last 8 or 9 years that I've been here. They've kind of been the king around here.
And I tell you what, you talk about their defense. If you look back at their path to this game, first round, they held New Haven to 7 points. Then, again, you have to come back from behind. They were down, I think, 8 points late in the game.
Yep.
So at some point, their defense had to make a key stop.
Sure.
And, Coach, I mentioned a little bit before the commercial break, this is a kind of unique situation that you're playing a team twice in 1 year. We did it a few years ago against IEP, but it's just rare. About 6 weeks ago, first matchup. How much can a team change between that? I mean, do schemes change? Do personnel change? Is there anything, or is it just – we know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. Let's put the ball out there.
Teams evolve as you go, and you get better. And really, this time of year, you rely on what you do well. Early in the year, you might have different schemes and different game plans, but really, this time of year, you're relying on what you do well. So, Slippery Rock is really good defensively. It kind of starts with their front four. They've got the defensive player of the year in the league is a defensive end that can rush the passer. He plays the run well. I mean, he's a really good player. Their defensive tackle number 0. I think he works there now. He's been there for what feels like forever. Active linebackers, and then they got some really, really good skill kids on the back end. So it kind of starts with them defensively. You flip it over to offense. Their quarterback was a Harlan Hill finalist last year, and maybe it didn't put up the numbers that he did a year ago, but that's by design. They're running the football more this year than they did last year. They're winning games. They're relying on their defense a little bit. So just a well-rounded team. But I think it speaks to the PSAC. When you get down to the last round, there's 3 out of 4 of the teams left in the Final Four in the region are all PSAC teams. So, I think our schedule has prepared us for this. We'll look back at the Slippery Rock film, but we know that they've evolved and they've gotten better, and they've probably shored some things up that we had them on last time, and they'll do the same to us. So I think it's, I think it speaks to the strength of the PSAC this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, there's 8 teams playing this week. 2 of them are within, an hour and a half of one another in this conference, and the old saying, iron sharpens irons. But, if you're a fan coming out this Saturday, you're going to see a marquee matchup. You touched on their quarterback. I think this might be the 2 best quarterbacks possibly left in the final 8 teams that you're going to see you're going to see a great game. But, I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be cold. But, like I said, marquee matchups, you got 2 great signal callers out there.
Yeah, and it's special. I'm glad that, it's obviously the PSAC, but we talk about it every year, multiple times a year, right? The rivalries that the PSAC has, I've heard from, our alumni that have heard from their alumni, and I think we'll have a phenomenal crowd. I got to urge the Valley. I got to urge our students that are back. You went home last weekend, stay here. Let's get it going up at Adamson. Vulcan Nation, I know we had a great alumni turnout this past weekend that braved the weather. I've got text messages on, we're wrapping pavilions, we're bringing fire pits, we're doing a little bit of everything. But, it's going to be a special day for 2 really good football teams.
Yeah, and the last time these 2 teams played was on homecoming. It was an amazing, amazing atmosphere. The weather.
Could we dial the same weather?
Yeah, if we can get the same weather. That was a beautiful day, but this Saturday, 1 o'clock, Adamson Stadium, the regional final. Tailgate lots are opening today at Monday. Just stay up there, build your fire pits. But again, like I said, it was a smaller crowd Saturday, but I tell you what, it was active. There were times in that game that I really felt that the crowd and the band impacted what was happening on the field.
I agree. At one point, when we caught that last interception, I thought it was sold out. Like it was crazy loud. But that just tells you about our fans. Some of the people that that have been here every week, and our alumni continue to come back. And craziest is this is our 7th straight home game. And we've had people that are here every weekend, the Natalies, God bless them. They're here every weekend, and for 7 straight weeks. So Vulcan football is special. We appreciate you, but we need you here this weekend. I know Slippery Rock's going to travel well. We need to pack this place and cheer on these guys. And,
it's going to be cold, but, the best way to embrace the cold, T-shirts. Coach said T-shirts for everybody.
There you go.
Just embrace it. I mean, last night, we're shooting this on Monday. I'm sure most of the people saw the Buffalo-San Francisco game last night.
It won't be that cold.
Won't be that cold, won't be that snowy, but let's bring that atmosphere because, we always talk about the 11 guys on the field at a time. Vulcan Nation could be the 12th man, and that it's going to be big. So 1 o'clock Saturday for game day information. Go to Cal Vulcans on all social platforms. Tickets will be sold at the gate day of, just like it's had been the last couple weeks. Credit cards and cash will be accepted. If you can't be there, if you're on a Caribbean cruise, congratulations. Make sure you have your ESPN Plus password ready because CUTV broadcast will once again be on ESPN Plus. And Coach, any final words for the fans out there?
Vulcan Nation, we need you. This is a fun group to watch, a fun group to cheer on. We need you here at Adamson Stadium 1 o'clock Saturday.
So that's it. I'm going to start bundling up for the game on Saturday. Coach Dunn, I'm Gary Smith. We'll see you at the stadium once again, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon at Adamson Stadium, the regional final versus